Are you considering getting into Airbnb, but not sure if the area you're looking at will make any money? If so, you're in the right place, as this video is covering how to pick a market for Airbnb or furnished rentals. What's up, guys? My name is Jonathan Farber. I was able to achieve financial freedom at 27 years old to the tune of around $12,000 from real estate and other income streams related to real estate. Welcome back to the channel, where I post 2 times a week on the latest strategies related to real estate, creative income, or productivity. If you get any value from these videos, or you're interested in any of these topics, please consider giving a like and a subscription. It shows me that these videos help and show me which topics I should make more content about. For this week's shout out, I need to shout out Morgan Flotteron. She's in our mastermind and has taken crazy action in building her side hustle as she starts her commercial real estate brokerage business. If you want to get a shout out in the next video, drop a comment below and give a sub to the channel and screenshot it, and we'll make sure to mention you in the next video. As always, the timestamps will be in the comments below. Make sure to stay until the end to hear about the tool that I'm giving away and the exact strategies and markets I would recommend starting right now. Okay, here's the good news if you're feeling stressed. More places than you think allow Airbnb, and more places are more profitable than you may think on Airbnb. Not to say that every area will make money, but you'll see what I mean in a sec. In my opinion, it would be hard to not make money right now on Airbnb or with furnished rentals. Okay, so the first question to ask, is it legal in the area that you're thinking about? And the first big disclaimer here, Airbnb itself is pretty much legal anywhere. By definition, Airbnb is just a connection site between people who are looking for housing and people who have housing to offer. It's not really different than a Facebook or Craigslist or apartments.com or Zillow. The thing that makes Airbnbs illegal in some cases is the fact that they're nightly rentals. And some areas have a problem with nightly rentals, which is why it won't work everywhere. That is what you're trying to understand depending on the strategy you're gonna do. And something I also need to mention with all this, and I'll make another complete video about, is that 30-night furnished rentals are extremely underrated and an even better option for beginners in my opinion. It just depends on the area and type of property. Okay, so how do you understand if an area is legal or illegal for nightly rentals? Not sure if anyone claims to have a secret for this, but it's as simple as it gets. Just Google the city name and then the word Airbnb restriction or nightly rental restriction alongside it. This will get you started down the path of learning what the deal is in that area. Usually you'll end up on a city or a county website, and it'll outline all that information. If you're more of a people person and don't like government websites, which is completely understandable, you can just connect with some investors in Facebook groups or realtors in Facebook groups or Zillow. I have another video about that, which we'll link below, which is all about finding a realtor and starting a relationship with them. In some areas, it might be better, as they might not have a lot of information on the tools we're gonna talk about, and it might be easier than talking to someone at the city or the county level. Like for example, in Asheville, you have to be outside of Buncombe County, but there are some interesting shapes on the county line that make it less obvious than you think on what's out or in the county limits. So by speaking with realtors and property managers to learn the details of that map, it made it much easier to buy property around that area and still be close to the places I wanted to be while being legal. Part number 2, are people coming to the area and why are they coming? Said another way, who's your ideal client or avatar? Now I know most of you guys are looking to start in the area where you live or nearby, not because out-of-state investing isn't possible, it definitely is. At the beginning, it just might be easier to start out nearby, and the things that you need to look for are really important. The first thing to always check is the restrictions and the permitting, which we kind of just covered. Okay, so when you start to think about who's coming to your area, it really starts with the demographic. Do you live near the mountains where people are hiking or exploring? Are you in a college town where students might be looking for quarter-to-quarter housing, or faculty might be looking for contracts? Or people coming for tailgates? Or are you at a beach where people come for an escape weekend in the summer or winter months? These are important to understand for 2 reasons. 1, they'll help you understand the seasonality of your area, and 2, they will help you with the decorating of your property. And in some cases, some areas need to be more suited to a certain area with the best design or the style, just to depend on what it is in that place. Part 3 comes down to just analyzing the numbers. We'll get into a few easy ways to know, but basically a good rule of thumb to know if a property is going to cash flow is the 15% rule. The way you get this is by dividing the projected revenue from AirDNA by the list price. And if the number comes out to 15 or higher, there's a good chance that the deal could cash flow. If it's close, I'd say it's worth analyzing. And if it's way off, it's probably a pass. The goal is to be able to look at deals quickly when they hit the market or when your broker sends them to you, and know if you want to pursue them to analyze them more quickly or to even make an offer sight unseen that day or maybe that week. Some of you guys already jumped on it, but we were doing doing a giveaway for the spreadsheet that I use to analyze deals. I'm still gonna extend that. If you want it, all you need to do is just comment on this video, subscribe to the channel, and then send me screenshots on Instagram, and I will send you the link for that spreadsheet. So where do you get the information? For the most part, you'll be getting a lot of it from a site called AirDNA, and within AirDNA, you'll even be able to compare markets. A lot of people ask if you should pay for AirDNA. Now, there is a paid version, but the free version is awesome, and it's a great start if you just want to explore markets. Once you're ready to start analyzing deals and make offers on a regular basis, I do recommend getting at least a 1-month subscription to MarketMinder, pulling the data out of there, and then when you don't need it anymore, you can just cancel your subscription. In the spirit of doing another giveaway, we're actually going to give away a spreadsheet to help compare markets. If you're interested in that, just drop a comment below, sub to the channel, and again, send me a screenshot on Instagram, and I will send out that market comparison or that template for anyone that needs it. Okay, so going a step further, to get information you need for analyzing, you can gather it from 2 places, and here's kind of how I think about it. AirDNA, or another tool called Rabu, is a great start just to start putting the data together and kind of visualizing it, but ultimately you can get tons of awesome data from Airbnb and VRBO themselves. It's sort of an obvious tool, kind of hiding in plain sight, but most people don't use it enough. From looking at the tools themselves, Airbnb and VRBO, you can look at all your comps, what they're charging per night, how booked they are, and the type of finishes they have in their property. You can also get an idea of what other owners are in the area and start maybe building relationships with them. In some cases, they'll be willing to help you, and in some cases, they might be open to doing co-hosting or property management for your place. I always recommend reaching out to hosts in the area you're considering. A lot of times, they're friendlier than you think, and they might be able to give you kind of a lay of the land for the property you're considering or the neighborhood you're considering. But really, if you get good at studying and tracking comps on Airbnb, that can be the only tool you need. What you're looking for with these comp properties are, like I mentioned, similar finish, similar design, how many beds, how many baths, how busy they are, what the daily price is, and I recommend tracking these in a spreadsheet to know what they're doing 30, 60, and 90 days out. As for AirDNA and Rabu, they're awesome tools to understand the data more simply for an area and kind of curating it to give you a good visual of what's going on. And like I mentioned before, you can learn a lot from the free versions before ever have to paying for anything. I will have a link to AirDNA in the summary. They do have an affiliate program, so if you do use that link, I'll drop a link below to AirDNA. It is an affiliate link, so if you do use it, I do get a small kickback. But again, it's a tool that I use and recommend regardless of that. And if you're looking to do Airbnb arbitrage, you can use a very similar process to what we outlined above. It's just you're now trying to figure out if there is enough profit between what you rent the property for and what you get it on a nightly basis. Instead of a monthly mortgage, you just have a monthly rent payment. There are also a few different expenses that come into renting versus owning. All right, so putting it all together, at a certain point, you just have to take the leap. There's never gonna be a perfect deal or a perfect way to know exactly what's gonna happen when you go live. Yes, by doing these steps, you have a much better handle than someone who doesn't do these steps. But the bottom line is, if you're pricing the property right, designing it well, and showcasing it with good lighting and pictures, it really just comes down to how well you do as a host. You would have to do something incredibly wrong, in my opinion, to not make at least a few hundred a month in almost any situation. And if you use the creative lending tricks that we talked about in the last video, you definitely don't have to worry about that, and your cash on cash return should still be very strong. So the bottom line is, get in the game and start taking action. And again, if you're interested, I made a spreadsheet to go along with this video to track some of these things. Again, just comment, sub, and DM me a screenshot on Facebook or Instagram, and I will make sure you have the tool. See you on the next one.